What's happening, y'all? It's your boy Scorpius, and I'm beyond excited to officially welcome you to the very first episode of the Scorpius School of SlamCrafts. This is a series where we dive headfirst into the world of crafting in Path of Exile 2, from the absolute basics all the way to the most insane, min-maxed endgame crafts that you can imagine. Now, I may know a lot about the game, but I'm not taking on this journey alone. Throughout these episodes, I'll be joined by some of the most brilliant minds and top crafters in our community. People who've turned RNG into an art form. Call it luck, call it skill, we're going to cover it all. Today, we're starting with the foundations, basic currency and intro level crafting. This episode is going to help you understand what each currency does, when to use them, and how to squeeze the most value out of them early on. And trust me, this is just the beginning. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. Joining me today is none other than Happyfoot. Not only one of our most trusted Twitch mods and a great friend, but also a master of both Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. He's built 600, 800% rarity bots, crafted insane items right at league start, and been rich enough in-game to support half of our guild. This is episode 1, Basic Currency and Intro to Crafting. Welcome to the Scorpius School of SlamCrafts. Yo, Happy, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. What about you?
Nice, good, bro. I'm so excited in having you as the first guest in the Scorpius School of SlamCrafts. It's gonna be pretty exciting here.
I'm pumped. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, me too. So I really want to go over all of the different currencies for everybody to understand, especially the basic ones and groups of items that we can actually use those currencies for crafting. But I believe that before we actually see the currencies and what they do and how they work, we need to understand where and how we can actually use those currencies. So my first question to you is, what are some items that players can improve or craft on using the currencies that we're going to see in a little bit?
Well, it depends on what build you're playing.
Okay.
For example, if you're playing maybe a bow archetype build, then you're not gonna go and craft wands, for example. You probably want to craft bows, quivers,
Yeah.
maybe evasion rating gear, and so on.
The items, though, that you're talking about is solely about gear, right?
Yeah.
Because there are other things, actually, that you can craft on, such as, for example, jewels, for anybody who doesn't know, which improve your stats a little bit more, but it's more advanced, so we're not going to cover that. There's also flasks, which you're going to find early on in the game, that help you sustain your life, your mana. You can craft onto those things as well. And lastly are the maps. These are the maps that you use for the end game. Once again, it's very advanced for this episode, so we're going to skip that. But what's not advanced and what's the most basic thing that you could do is the gear items and gear pieces. So just to explain to everybody, and then Happy, you're going to take it away, there are 3 different colors to gear items, which is the white one, which we call normal, which is all of this that you guys can see right here. Then we have the magic, which is the blue color, and then we have the rare, which is the yellow.
Modifiers are basically stats that can be rolled onto items. For example, an item has a base stat.
Okay.
Like, for example, I mean, you can hover over any item and we can see, like, it
These
has
sandals, for
energy
example.
shield. Yeah, 63 energy shield, and it's the base item stats.
Okay.
You can further enhance it with currency, make it magic. A magic item is an item that's blue and has 2 modifiers. They can have up to 2 modifiers.
Okay.
Wide items, normal items, doesn't have any modifiers.
Okay.
It only has the base stats. And rare items, which you said yellow items, can have up to 6 maximum modifiers.
Okay.
And all these modifiers have their separate tiers of roles that they can have.
Okay, I was
So
I
for
was about to
example,
ask you that because you said that modifiers. Obviously, we know the modifiers are stats within the gear. How do we know when a stat is good? And you mentioned tiers.
it's again very dependent on what you're playing,
Okay.
but usually the lower the tier, uh, if you hold Alt on PC,
Yeah.
you can see the tiers of the modifiers. The best tier is tier 1. So when you say what is a good modifier, I mean, tier 1 mana, for example, could be a good modifier for a certain build.
Okay. So what you're saying basically, so we can clear things up, is that the lower the number of the tier, the better it is. So tier 9 is bad. Tier 2 is good, correct?
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Then the second thing that you're saying is that it always depends on the build and what you need as a class that you will determine whether it's good or bad. Like tier 1 maximum mana or tier 1 whatever the case is, like tier 2 chaos resistance here might not be needed for your build. Therefore, it doesn't automatically mean it's good because it's a higher tier. That's also something you're saying.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so here's my follow up question for you then. Is there a way that anybody can secure a more guaranteed outcome, or is everything purely luck based here?
The game has randomness when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to crafting. It's something that's built into the game. So you can never guarantee a mod.
Okay,
You can come close to guaranteeing a type of mod, but you can never guarantee that specific mod. Uh, and same goes with the tiers. You can never guarantee a certain tier of the mod.
okay.
So the randomness will always be there.
Okay, so it's what we call RNG in the gaming world, which is random number generator, right? Which is luck based,
Exactly.
obviously. But what you're saying that there are some other tools that we're going to see in later episodes because they're too advanced for now. Things like, for example, essences. These can
Yeah.
provide you some more targeted aspects of the gear, but again, maintain an RNG component into it as well. That's what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
For example, the one that you hit is like a combination of the evasion rating energy shield modifier,
Mm-hmm.
but a smaller variation in combination with life, which also is a smaller variation.
Yeah. So you're saying that it's much better to have individual modifiers
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
hybrids because hybrids always come to a lower extent of their numeric values. But
exactly.
for leveling, it might prove to be okay though because you get a little bit of everything.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. So I just wanted to showcase it. I'm actually pretty happy that this happened for people to see what's going on. But again, this is not 3 mods. It's 2, 1 hybrid, one normal. Now that we have a full 6, that we have a prefix and suffix, as you guys can see here.
I mean, prefixes are like the first three modifiers when you hold Alt on PC, and the suffixes are like the last three. All the mods are associated with their affix. For example, you cannot get life on a suffix,
Okay.
or you cannot get attributes like strength or dex on a prefix. So if you have three prefixes
Mm-hmm.
and you're hoping to get life, you already know that you can't get life.
Got it. So you can only have 3 on one and 3 on the other one.
Exactly.
So things like life regeneration, as we can see here, stun threshold, dexterity, strength, intelligence, any kind of resistance are things that can only be in the suffix. And then evasion, energy shield, life. Then we have things like lightning damage, flat damage, and all the rest
Yeah.
can be on prefix. Then to finalize the crafting bases and the items and everything and move on to the basic currency so we can actually start crafting a little bit here with you. How would you know which items are worth crafting on and which you will actually waste your currency? Especially if you think if you are a newer player or even advancing into the story and the end game, how would you know which items are worth?
There are some questions you need to ask yourself if
Okay.
like, do you need the items? Is it can you, like, for instance, can you kill the Act 1 final boss without better gear?
Right.
If you can, then you probably have good enough gear to continue.
Got
If
it.
not, then you might be looking at trying to pick up some some items that has defenses or offenses depending on what you need, and try to see if you can get a better maybe wand than you have, or maybe better bow, or maybe a body armor with more resistance or more life,
Okay.
anything like that. The best way to find gear or items is basically just kill bosses, continue through the acts, and items will drop if
Okay.
something looks interesting with like if you find a yellow item, maybe pick it up and identify it and see if
Okay.
it's good.
Perfect. So that covers the items. Now we can get actually a little bit more familiar with the actual currency and what we have to work with whenever we start a brand new league, or if you guys are brand new to the game. The three most basic currencies are these three: Orb of Transmutation, Orb of Augmentation, and Regal Orb. And what they do is very, very simple. Each one hits the item for one modifier. And for example, if you have a normal item, let me just pick up one normal item, something random here. Let's get the sleek jacket. So as you can see, it's a white, it's a normal. As Happy said before, there are some bases on it. So for example, evasion rating and energy shield is this jacket's base stats, and it doesn't have any modifiers. That's because we didn't craft anything on it. So if I slap Orb of Transmutation, this is gonna convert the normal item to magic, and it's gonna provide it one modifier. So let's go ahead and do that. There you go. We got stun threshold. Then if we do Orb of Augmentation, it's going to keep it as a magic item, because remember, Happy said before that magic items can have up to 2 modifiers. This one has 1, so it has space for 1 more. And the 1 more extra, you get it from Orb of Augmentation. So if we use this, it's going to add a second one. There you go, maximum life. And lastly, we can convert the magic item to rare. And the way we do that is with the Regal Orb, which is the third most basic item and currency that you can use. It's going to add another modifier and convert it from magic to rare. And I heard Happy laughing before, and if I wasn't explaining, I would have laughed as well, because the stats here are very, pretty bad. So if you hold onto Alt, you can actually see the tiers, and we see that we got a record-breaking tier 13. So that's the lowest that I've seen, I think, right?
I think that's the lowest. Same with the cold rest, the absolutely lowest. But I wouldn't level with that, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't for sure. Is there anything else in this window, which is the currency tab, that you would consider as a basic item or a basic currency in the beginning?
Exalted Orb are like kind of basic slash the segue to the advanced kind of part.
Okay.
I would say. And I guess the quality items and wisdom scrolls, of course.
Okay.
And I guess the armor scraps are also something that can be used.
Right.
As basic, so to say.
Right. So armor scraps, and we've got the all three here that provide quality to the items. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, quality simply improves the main stat on each piece of gear. Like what we said before, this jacket has 268 on evasion and 101 on energy shield. So if we quality this up, as you can see, it says on an armor, this one is for wand, staffs, and scepters, and this one is for martial weapons, which are like bows and quarter staffs and all that stuff. But if we pick up a few of these and we add them to quality, you're going to see that the evasion rating and energy shield goes up. And the way that we get these, we get them from salvaging, right?
Yeah, you salvage items with quality. Items will drop that already has quality. I think you unlock the salvage bench at Act 1. I think like the 4th instance or something like that.
Yeah, the executioner boss, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere there, you get the salvaging bench.
And you salvage items with quality to gain armor scraps. I would actually just salvage that and craft.
Yeah, you're right. Let's do that. There you go. And then we have the Artificer's Orbs that add rune sockets onto your gear. As you guys see these circles in the middle, you can put socketables in here. There's a whole tab here. We're not going to go into this for this episode, but these also provide you with extra modifiers, one per socket into your gear, and the way that you get that space for you to put that rune is Artificer Orbs. And just like Happy explained, you get those orbs from salvaging gear that already has sockets. And that's basically it. But you did mention about Exalted Orbs here. So can you tell us a little bit more about Exalted Orbs?
I mean, Exalted Orbs are the same as Augmentation Orbs,
Okay.
but instead of magic items, Exalted Orb works on rare items.
So this jacket, for example, again, it's not the best jacket, but it's better than the previous one. We have 3 modifiers on here, and you said before that the limit is 6 on a rare item. So in order for us to go from 3 to 6 or 4 to 6 or 5 to 6, it's with Exalted Orbs. So now we have 3, we hit it, it goes to 4, that's 38% lightning resistance. Another one, we get 38 cold. This is proving to be a decent chest piece actually here.
T2.
And yeah, and lastly, we do one more, and then we get Thorns damage there. And that's how we use Exalted Orbs.
Yeah.
There is one more way to use Exalted Orbs, and that's trading, right? Can you tell us a little bit?
I mean, if you're playing SSF, then this would not apply to you.
Yeah, but you're only going to use this orb for crafting at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I would still save it, even if you're playing SSF. I would still save the Exalted Orbs for like once you, at least early end game, when you start doing maps and waystones. That's when I would use Exalted Orbs on my gear to maybe hope to upgrade them. But if you're playing trade, any trade league, so whether it's softcore or hardcore, it's always best to save Exalted Orbs, and because you will need them for once you start with the end game. That's usually when you buy gear with good defenses, with good resists, so you can max out on your resistance, cap it out at 75%. Because going from Act 3 cruel to maps could be a bit rippy. It's a bigger jump than going from one act to another.
Okay.
I don't see really a point in using them before that, because you will most likely, once you go to like a different act, if you're in Act 1 or Act 2 and you go to Act 3, you will probably find better gear there. So it's probably better to not use
especially
those.
if you do that jump between normal and cruel, right?
Exactly. And like, again, like especially in the beginning of the league, they do have a value. Exalted Orbs. I think last league or this league, one Divine Orb was like 33 or 34 Exalted Orbs.
Right. Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't understand what we mean by saving them and not using them for crafting, is because Exalted Orb is going to be the first valuable currency that when you find it early on in the league, you're going to get excited and you're going to feel rich, because the reason is you're going to use Exalted Orbs in the our third-party website, which is PoE2's main trading website where the market is, and you're going to be able to use Exalted Orbs so you can buy gear and buy items that you need. What Happy is saying is don't waste your Exalted Orbs on crafting items early on, and don't waste Exalted Orbs on buying stuff online when you're leveling, especially if you're low level. Now, if it's Act 3 in Cruel, towards the very, very end, and you cannot kill anything, you cannot find anything, then maybe you can browse around and see, but that's the main way that we use them. And the second orb that he mentioned are the Divine Orbs, which I believe are the most valuable trading currency, I would say, even though you can use it for crafting. We're going to tackle that in just a second. But again, Divine Orb, it's as if, imagine you have an $100 bill, and that's Divine Orb, and then Exalted Orb is like the $1 bills. So it's going to translate, Divine Orb is more valuable. Am I explaining that correctly, you think?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay. So,
analogy.
Yeah. So for anybody who was asking me the other day, is if you start in a new league and you're super, super lucky, and you find a Divine Orb, what would you do with that one, Happy? League starter, early on, you're low level, you find a Divine Orb.
Am I playing on a trade league, or
you are playing on the trade league? Yeah.
then I would probably just save it. Like, I would maybe look for, depending on what I'm playing.
Mhm.
If I'm playing something with a rather rare, unique item,
Mm.
um, then I would maybe see if I can afford one. Because usually the expensive items are really cheap in the beginning of the league, uh, and everything has like a much lower value due to not being enough currency yet.
Mhm.
Um, if not, then I would save it. It will go up in price. Maybe after the first four days or so, it will probably double in price. So you'll get more exalted orbs from for that divine. Uh, but it's
Right. Okay.
always good to like I usually say spend money to gain money. So if you can upgrade your character, uh, that way you can be able to do higher tier
Yeah, to
maps,
progress in the
and that
game.
way you
Yeah.
can, yeah, and that way you can drop even more divine orbs.
Afterwards, you can convert the divine orb for the exalted orbs and upgrade your gear that way if you want to. And how would you do that, actually? How would you convert that? Happy.
I mean, they've made it pretty easy now. They have, I think, in Act 3, you unlock Alva, and
Mm-hmm.
she has something called the currency exchange,
Mm-hmm.
where you put in the items you want, or not the items, but rather the currency you
Yeah.
want and the currency you have. Um, and then you can get a estimate of what you will get uh, from your divine,
Right.
basically.
So as we
It's
see
also
here,
possible.
one divine orb
Yeah.
equals 1,900 exalted orbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
a
a
lot.
crazy number at the moment in this current league, but we expecting the numbers to be around 25 to 50 exalted orbs in the first week and a half, maybe,
We,
of the new league.
probably the worst, like the first 4 days
4 or 5 days, yeah,
afterwards.
and then it's
Yeah,
gonna
it usually
slowly
goes up to
rise.
like, no, it rises pretty fast. Like it goes to like 90, then 120, 130, and then 200. And
Right.
usually it sits around 200 for a while before it goes up.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah.
Okay.
So
Ju-
if you have a lot of exalted orbs during the act, you could buy divine orbs and stock up on them.
Well, divine orb is definitely not a basic currency, but I had to cover it because it's something that everybody's trying to get as soon as possible, and I wanted new people and players to know the value and what to do with it. But going back to the main basic currency, I would say I think there's one thing missing here, and it's probably Vaal Orb. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yes and no, because sure it's basic, but you shouldn't use it.
Okay.
That's my main
Okay.
uh, logic, I guess. Especially if you have somewhat decent items that you rely on. Um,
Okay,
but
so Val Orb, for anybody who doesn't know what it doesn't add modifiers. What it does, it just changes things into your gear piece. So, for example, if I bring back the item that we used, what Val Orb is going to do is going to change one modifier unpredictably. It could change the number, it could change the entire modifier, it could add a socket. Remember, you guys, we said about Artificer Orbs, they add rune sockets. Well, Val can add an additional rune socket on top of the limit of whatever rune sockets the items can have. But correct me if I'm wrong here. You definitely don't want to Val Orb until you have fixed and finished up with the entire item. And even then, Happy saying that you shouldn't actually Val anything,
I
right?
mean, the only time you use Valorb is if you're bored and you just want to roll a dice, because
Yeah.
it's like it unpredictably changes the item, and once it's corrupted, once you use the Valorb, you cannot do anything with the item. You can change the runes on the item, but not anything else.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so
we're gonna do
if
it
let's
for the
say you
sake of
have,
doing it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but if you have like a body armor that you're using,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see a reason to value unless like you really need the extra socket, like the third socket. I think
And
there's
maybe
like,
you have a second backup in case things goes
yeah,
wrong,
I
right?
guess, yeah, like you wouldn't val if you have no currency, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only like piece of gear you have, then I wouldn't val it. But Yeah, it's
Awesome.
like
Well, we're valuing this one because why not? So, as you guys saw while Happy was explaining, I did put 20% quality and we added 2 sockets. So, this item is considered done from our side with crafting. The only last thing to do to try and improve this is hitting it with a Vaal. So, that's exactly what we're going to do here. But for us to be able to see what happened, we're going to pin it. For anybody who doesn't know how to pin it, you want to hold onto Alt the same way that you're looking at the tiers. And then you're going to see the little pin right here. You just click that. It's going to stick to your screen. And that's basically it. That's the best way to see what changes happen when valing. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We got lucky and we got a 3rd socket. That's
there
it.
are some stuff that can happen. One of them is getting a socket. Another one is nothing changes and nothing happens. I think the 3rd one is on the body armor. It's I think you can roll an enchant. Another effect is that you basically roll the numeric values of the items. So like instead of 38 cold rest, it could go to like maybe 27 or go up to like 40, 42. So you can roll the numbers of the item, or if it's a rare item and you val it, what could happen is that one item gets removed and another one gets added in.
Right. So there are multiple different unpredictable ways that Vaal can either improve or completely brick the item, which is why you're saying that you can have fun with it as long as you're not actually having fun with the main gear that you're using. Because oftentimes, as we've proved over on stream and everything, oftentimes it's not going to go your way.
I think you hit like the most optimal way. You hit the additional socket.
Yeah, this the 3rd socket. Yeah, true.
I think it's the best outcome when it comes to at least body armors. That way you can, if it's a high energy shield item, you can get even more energy shield with the runes.
Because of the socketables that we can add.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Or if it's a bow, you can get another damage or another arrow or so on. And the same goes for like boots, helmets. You can add an additional socket with Vaal Orbs on those gears.
Yeah. But again, guys, this is a bad example. Don't use Vaal
It's like
Orb.
1 in 5. It's
like,
not worth.
Yeah, it's 1 out of 20 probably, and I just hit it for no reason. But don't experiment, especially when you're leveling. I don't think it's a good call to do that. Yeah.
It's 1 in 5 to add an additional socket. I think it is.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. Okay, so we do have a couple of other things here. We can go over a few of them. So something very important that we didn't mention before are these little fragments here, which are like shards that whenever they're completed, they become a main thing.
So transmutation shards you get from disenchanting magic item, regold from rare items, and chance shard from disenchanting unique items.
So for example, right here, this is a rare. It's going to give us a regal shard, but again, I wouldn't disenchant this because it has 3 sockets. I would rather salvage this so I can get the artificer orbs.
Or sell that. Probably better to sell that.
Or sell that. Okay, we're getting into a new territory. Okay, explain.
No, but if you hit that, like if you're like Act 3 and you hit that, then I'll just sell it.
Okay.
You got 2 good resistances. He has dexterity, 3 sockets, which means you can add even more resistance or more evasion rating. If you're like end game, then probably just salvage that. But as a beginner, if you started out and you found something similar to this, I would sell that. It would probably give you a few exalts early on in the league.
Okay, beautiful. And just to go over the way that you sell it into the market, because we've had a lot of actually questions for this. And the way to do it is you need to go into the microtransaction shop. I'm not going to analyze everything here, just I'm going to be as basic as possible. Microtransactions, and you need to purchase at least 1 premium stash tab. And the premiums are usually going to have like a diamond next to them, and that allows you to place items within that stash tab into the public market for people to find your items online. And the way that you do that is by following this exact thing. You need to put your item in there, and you will need to put that stash tab, the premium one, to public, obviously. And you've got 3 options here. It's very self-explanatory if you're okay with negotiating or not, whatever. Each item individually priced, for example, and you click on OK. Then you can right-click, exact price, choose the exalted orbs that you want to add, let's say this item for, and that's basically it. Now this chess piece is going to be in the market for 12 exalted orbs. Obviously this and how to detect what the best price for your items are and how to know what to do with the trading. We're going to cover everything within another episode in our series here for crafting. So for now, I just wanted to give you the basic in case you had the question. But Happy, I have another question for you, man. You said about selling the item, and I immediately thought of gold. I thought that you meant for me to sell that to the vendor to get some gold. Can you help us understand gold?
I mean, gold is only used for Alva trade and for buying items from merchants, I guess.
Okay, which is the currency exchange thing that we saw before. As we saw here, we've got like $250,000 that we need to pay for this conversion. And I think for refunding, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, for refunding as well. So it's also really good to check what the merchants have between every act to see if you find an upgrade. Sometimes you can find a good 2 good stats, and then you can maybe regal, and might be an upgrade for you.
Now, the rest of the currencies that we have is multiple different ways that can provide you quality of life, like the jeweler's orbs. We've got 3 of them. Lesser, greater, and perfect. They all do the same thing with just a different volume of enchantment for your gems. Gems are the abilities. And each of these jeweler orbs, they just add more support gems into your main abilities, which is what you guys see right here. You always start with 2, and if you add lesser, you get 1 more. So you're going to get 3, as you can read here, then 4 with this one, and then 5 with that one. And in addition to all of that, we also have the quality, which the quality can be added onto your abilities and auras, but not the support gems. And as you can see here, my lightning arrow has 20% quality. And if you hold on to Alt, bottom here, you're going to see additional effects from the quality, so you know if it's worth to quality it or not. What about the rest that we didn't see here, Happy? For example, Orb of Chance.
That could be... That's not really a crafting item.
Okay.
It's more of a gambling item.
Okay.
And we can maybe leave that be, because it's not... I don't think it's very beneficial. If you drop a chance orb, then save it, because they usually also have their value.
So could we just call the next 3 currencies, we're just going to call them, hey, this is too advanced for this episode. If you find it, don't use it, just keep it there. And I would categorize Orb of Chance, Orb of Annulment, and Fracturing Orb into that category. Do you agree?
Correct. Those are like...
Good.
If you don't know what you're doing, just leave them.
Just leave them there. Okay, beautiful. Then we have Orb of Alchemy, which I think it's pretty important.
It's pretty basic, yeah.
And then we have Chaos Orb. So what could you tell us about the Orb of Alchemy here?
Alchemy Orb, what it does, it basically skips the magic part of an item, and it goes from white, normal item, to rare. With an additional modifier. So you get an additional modifier.
So it's basically as if you used this right here. As if you used 1 Regal, 1 Exalted, 1 Augmentation, and 1 Transmutation. That's exactly what Alchemy does.
Yeah. I usually save my alchemies for when I start doing maps, because it's better to run rare maps than magic maps. You get more loot. Map gets a bit difficult, but you also get better rewards. So yeah.
Okay. So
save alchemies for when you start doing maps.
And last but not least, we've got Chaos Orb.
Yeah, Chaos Orbs, what they do is they remove 1 modifier and they add another one. So it's completely random which modifier it gets removed, and it's also completely random what modifier you add. So
again, if you get it, just save it, right?
Yeah, it's like it has too much of a value early on, and it increases in value really, really fast.
Okay.
So because people use them to craft higher tier items and more expensive stuff.
I do believe that these 3, actually, wait, there you go. These 4 should be the only currencies that are under currency, maybe even this potentially should be, in my books, the way that I'm playing every single league so far, are the only currencies that I use when I level up. Nothing else. And I just stack everything else.
Yeah, the lesser jewelers are fine as well. Even the greater jewelers could be something if you know which skill you're going to use.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You can complete all the acts, even if you're a beginner.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty doable to complete all the acts and start end game with the gear you find on the ground.
Now to finish everything here and wrap things up, what's an easy way for players to learn which stats to aim for on their gear?
I mean, I think it's quite straightforward. If you're playing a mage, you're looking for anything that has with spell damage to do. When it comes to like an attack user, if you're playing bow or melee, it will also say like if you're playing bow, it will say projectile damage or stuff like that. And melee, of course, it will say melee. And when it comes to defense, at least during the acts, it's quite generic. You're looking for life, you're looking for resistance. You can press C, I think, to see your resistances and your life and your energy shield and everything there. Try to stay as tanky as possible because some bosses are quite rippy. So having you do not need to cap your resistance at all time. But if you find an opportunity to maybe craft an item with good resistance, then that's something I would do. Yeah.
So here's my final question for you. If somebody starts playing the game or they're dedicating to learning crafting, what would you want their mindset to be when experimenting with crafting?
The mindset should be, don't be afraid to fail, because you most likely will. It's purely like the crafting is purely RNG. Even if you use like expensive stuff to craft, it will still be up to RNG if you hit anything good or anything that you need. So expect currency loss when crafting. Sometimes it could be profitable if you're lucky, but if you're tight on currency, probably better to buy gear or find gear.
Right.
So that's my mindset.
Definitely, and I still do believe that it's very, very early in the game, like early access. We are going to get a lot of different other systems and everything that might help. Maybe not. We'll see.
Of course, no. I think they will add more and more currency per patch or like per league. So more things will come, and I believe the currency. They mentioned something about wanting to keep the loot like random and make the crafting as random as possible, but it will probably more deterministic the more leaks come out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Happy, thank you so very much for today, man. I think we did a very good job explaining the basics and everything. I'm really happy that you were here on the first episode, and I hope that you had fun as well, man.
No, I had fun. Thank you for having me. It was a blast.
Excellent. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to see you very soon, maybe for another episode here. So thank you once again, man.
Anytime, bro.
Well, now you guys know the foundations of crafting and currency in Path of Exile 2. And if you're ready to go beyond the basics, to dive into deeper crafting concepts like item level requirements, recognizing valuable mods, and picking the perfect gear bases, then make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because that's exactly what we're tackling in the next episode of the Scorpius School of SlamCrafts. A massive thank you and shout out to today's guest, the legend himself, Happyfoots, for sharing his knowledge with us. Thank you all so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Until then, don't forget that every slam is a lesson, and every lesson might just be a gamble. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.